we'll be starting today in a child's position. So we'll want our knees can be wider or closer together. The toes can be coming in contact with one another. You can have lots of cushions and pillows and other things as a support. Allowing the hands to stretch out in front of you, resting your head and chest on the mat. Taking some time just to arrive and settle. I'll keep my head up so it's easier for me to speak. We're going to be doing a nice energizing flow today. And you'll see a bit of what I'm enjoying to practice today. We'll be repeating certain movements, and we will be exploring repeating those movements at a slower pace. I will do my best to offer suggestions, offer variations from a simpler way to a maybe more advanced way, but always adjusting and tailoring to your needs. This isn't a competition. We're not here to cause injury. And if you haven't yet set an intention for today's practice, feeling free to do so. And from here, we can move up into a tabletop, curling the feet, toes on the mat. We'll just take some time to warm up the core, the spine. So moving here in a way that feels nice. Perhaps bringing the spine upward and downward, side to side. Maybe doing some rolls. And as best you can, keeping that breath involved. And in particular, in some of the more challenging things today, that breath is it's going to be a very skillful ally. So from here, we can sit back on the toes. Placing the hands closer to the knees. Spreading the fingers a bit, not too wide. And we'll begin rocking forward and backwards. Beginning to warm up the wrists. Turning the hands in on each other. Rocking forwards and backwards. Turning the hands out from each other, wrists closer together. Rocking side to side. And the last one that we'll do is we'll make fists. And then we'll flatten out the hands. Being very gentle here. Wrists. Fists down to the wrists. So we're opening up the hands, sitting back, shaking out the hands. Let's begin to create some fire in the arms and in the shoulders. So placing the hands out in front of us, stretching out the fingers, and making a fist, straightening out the fingers, the hands, fist, flexing out the hands. And now repeating at a faster pace. So we're closing and opening up, perhaps noticing as the breath becomes more shallow, remembering to breathe. That breath is our ally today. Noticing the sensations in the arms, perhaps the change in temperature. At any point in time, you can stop. As I mentioned, it's not a competition. If you notice you're getting quite serious, maybe smiling, my arms are on fire. We'll do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shaking out the hands. Maybe pretending there's holes in the fingertips and we're just shaking stuff out. Maybe the toes are also quite sensitive right now. We are stretching out the feet and the toes in this posture. So let's give the toes a little bit of a break. Come back onto our hands and knees. Now what I invite us to do is to press really firmly into the mat. So we're gripping the ground. And to bring the elbows towards the back. And we want to squeeze the ground together. That way we start engaging the chest. So just holding this position is already lots of work for the arms and the chest. We push up a little bit more to engage the upper back. And we do the same with the legs. So the knees are nice and firm in the mat. The feet can be flat or back on the toes. And we're engaging the glutes, the legs, and also trying to squeeze them together. And we'll hold this for a bit, breathing. If you want to up the intensity, lifting up the knees just a bit off the ground. Squeezing, pushing, lengthening, smiling, breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes together, knees wide apart, going back into child's. Taking a mini break. They say it's always calmest before the storm. So enjoying the calm. Since I'm speaking of storms, the eye of the storm is usually pretty calm still. So hopefully today you can explore how the breath can be the eye and support you as the body goes through some stormy weather. We come up from the child's position. So the hands are a bit more towards the front of the mat. The hips are over the mat. The knees are behind the hips. So we're kind of leaning forward. Now, from here, we're still pressing the hands into the mat, squeezing them. So it's a nice modified plank. The glutes are engaged, the legs are engaged. And then from here, you can explore maybe bringing the hips down a little bit and opening up the chest. If this is too intense, please back off and just being in plank, maybe going down a bit. Then from here, we'll move back, coming into a modified child's pose. And we'll repeat this movement several times. My ask is that you just do it very slowly. So for everyone that wants to stay in this modified version, this is what you're going to be doing. And for the individuals that want to up the intensity, we curl the toes, we go into plank, and the feet can be wide apart, maybe as wide as the mat. And from plank, we move into upward dog, ensuring that those glutes are engaged, protecting the lower back. If you don't want to go into an upward dog, then plank is okay too. And then from plank, we start shifting the hips up, putting that head in between the arms, making our way into a downward dog or an inverted V. So if you're choosing this variation, then you go from downward dog to upward dog, repeating the process several times in a nice slow pace. Focusing on the journey, focusing on the in between, and perhaps learning something new as we tend to move very quickly through postures, through poses. Using or reconnecting with that breath. May it be the eye in the storm. And feeling free at any point in time to take a little break, to go into child's position, And we can meet in plank or modified plank. We all put our knees down. We shift the hips back. Elbows come onto the mat. And we gently, close to the mat, glide through. Belly on the mat. Hands close to the shoulders. Feet flat. And gently lifting up into a little baby cobra. If you'd like to hiss or stick out the tongue, be more cobra like you can. Coming back down, pushing ourselves back onto the feet. And from here, making our way into a standing position, however you'd like. And we will stand with the feet a bit wider apart. And we want the toes facing outward. And we'll add a little bend in the knees. So we'll take some time to be in goddess pose or horse stance. At any point in time, if you notice the sensations are too much, you can straighten out the legs or maybe go lower. And we'll start just by bringing the hands out to the sides. And I'd like for you to imagine now that you're holding a really big steering wheel. And what I invite you to begin to do is to start turning the wheel into one direction and then moving it in the other direction. Doing a few of these. Perhaps engaging the glutes more. Feet and toes are strong. Breathing into the fire that's being created in the legs. So while the body can be screaming, exploring the possibility of the mind being still. Easier said than done, I think. Doesn't have to be so serious. We're here having fun. Okay. I think we've done enough turns on this windy road. Arms can go out to the sides. Just a few more seconds. Maybe going down a bit lower for the final stretch. We can sway side to side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, and straightening out the legs, bringing the toes in on each other, straightening out the back as we breathe in, and as we exhale, coming down into a standing straddle forward fold. Maybe folding the arms, allowing them to hang heavy, neck and head falling towards the mat. Breathing and stretching. We straighten out the back. We shift over to the front, placing the hands down on the mat, bringing the feet back, coming onto our toes. And from here, making our way onto our sit bones. We'll do one final stormy exercise. So we will go into a boat pose, boat in a storm. And we want our back to be straight as best we can. We squeeze that core in. And then we explore, so the hands can be on the back of the legs for support. We explore lifting the feet off the mat. And this could be a really great starting pose. Using the hands to support, and then maybe exploring one leg off the mat, maybe the other, maybe both legs. And if you feel like you can let go of the arms without bending the back, then you can let go of the arms. Otherwise, we're holding. And from here, I invite us to maybe straighten out the legs a bit more and then come back. Straighten out the legs a bit and come back. If you want maybe a fuller, more intense, then you can straighten out the legs, go down into low boat, shoulders and upper back is off the mat, and then we come back up into high boat. So we can do about 10 of these, any kind of variation. Maybe this is enough. So 10 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Putting the feet down, squeezing the legs, breathing. And slowly, with the support of the hands, rocking or coming down onto our backs. Squeezing the legs close to the belly and the chest. Grabbing the back of the legs, the shins or calves, or the bottom of the feet. Happy baby pose. And letting go of happy baby, placing the feet on the mat. You can allow the knees to fall in on each other. If you'd like to stretch a bit the groin, you can bring the feet together, open up the knees, or you can already straighten out the legs and go into our final resting pose. Taking this last minute and some to be, to breathe, and to appreciate yourself for making the time to practice today. And you're more than welcome to stay longer in your resting posture. It's highly recommended to take at least a minute to settle a bit the nervous system. Otherwise, we're just fast paced the rest of the day. But if you have the bandwidth, taking 5, maybe even 10 minutes is really nice. So that marks the end of our movement practice for today.